All right. Welcome if you're tuning in for the first time today. Welcome especially to people all around Indonesia and Samoa. And Indonesia, who won their match against Fiji, will be batting first today. It's going to be Pratiwi facing the first ball. And bowling to her is going to be Lafanga Lamoe. From the northern end, the Kuta end. And this first one's just played away into the offside, called through for a single. That's very good running. Early call there from the non-striker. That's Susrika Yoni, I should say. And she'll be facing the second ball. And she's struck high on the thigh pad there. Half-hearted appeal. So Indonesia, comfortable victory yesterday. Chasing a small target. 42 or 43 I think it was. Against Fiji. This one's left alone outside the line of off stump. Signalled wide by umpire Alu Kappa from Papua New Guinea. Motorbike off in the distance, coming through the sound effects microphone, as that one's driven wide of cover. There's a chase there for the captain. That's Fetu. Avatia Fetu. Fetu, I should say. So, bright start here by Indonesia. 3 runs on the board already. As this one's wide down the leg side. The scoreboard's just 1 run behind. Yeah, it is now. So it's 4 without loss. So it's just the 3 legitimate deliveries. Slip in place here for Lamoe. She comes in again. It's a full length ball. Just worked into the leg side. And there's no run. Picked up there by Selepea. That's her first name anyway. Her second name is Paula Taivao. That's very wide down the leg side. Interesting to see the wicketkeeper there with a helmet on, despite standing a good 10 yards behind the stumps. Don't see that too often, although I did see it in a match here recently. Maybe that's just a comfort thing or a protection thing, or just doesn't like to take the helmet on and off. And that's worked beautifully behind square, out towards the boundary. It won't go all the way, but good work, good teamwork in the outfield there. One of them picked it up, threw it to the other one, who threw it in, and Pratiwi, she moves on to 3. It was a very nice shot, full length delivery, worked away off her pads. So this is Gusti Ayu. So that's certainly a Balinese player. Don't need to look at the handbook for that one. You can tell just by the name. There's a further run to Pratiwi, and that is the end of the over. So bright start from Indonesia. 8 without loss, and going to welcome back in Toby from the ICC. Thanks for joining me, Toby. I think we missed you in the second innings of that first match. We would have basically just been calling a lot of wickets, so let's hope for Indonesia's sake they post a good score here. What are you thinking based on what you saw yesterday?
Thanks, Andy. It's a pleasure to be back here. Yeah, it's an interesting question, and interesting that Samoa are winning the toss and electing to field first, sending Indonesia in. So I think they'd be hoping to keep Indonesia probably under 100, I'd say. That would probably be their target. think if Indonesia are to score anything, probably over 100, 110, it's going to be a tough chase for Samoa. But yet again, then yesterday against Papua New Guinea, they did chase down 123. So
the new over begins here, and this is Mapu coming in from the southern end. Quite a long run up actually. The first one's just defended by Pratiwi. Yes, as I say, you can pick out the Bali names very easily because, well, first of all, I've lived in Bali for 6 years, so it's easy for me, but there's a certain naming convention for Balinese. And so, for example, second one here on the list, Kadek means second in the family. Here is this next ball from Mapu, and it's just defended. May have come off the pad actually. But yes, Kadek is the second child in a family. Putu, the one underneath, that's the first.
There you go. Learn something every day.
Yeah. And of course in the Indonesian cricket setup, there's, particularly because we've got this great ground in Bali, there are a lot of Balinese players in all Indonesian representative sides. As this next one's down the leg side from Mapu, and it's a wide. Indonesia moves on to 9 without loss.
Samoan captain here bowling, Avita Mapu. She had a great performance yesterday, getting her team over the line with the bat, and we're looking to continue.
How many wickets down were they in the end?
You've put me on the spot, but I reckon about 4 or 5 wickets down, I think. I would say 4 wickets down, I guess.
This next one just beaten outside the off stump is Pratiwi, and there's no run. That's actually a pretty good chase, because what I've seen in, this sort of lower, I hate saying lower, that's the wrong word, but just less experienced players, and at a less experienced players that are at a lower level, if you know what I mean, especially at under 19s, they might not have played that much cricket. So sometimes you actually have batters and bowlers who pretty much do everything, right? And then down the order, sometimes the batting strength isn't so strong. So that's just why I asked the question: how many wickets down were they? This next one is just defended into the leg side.
So they won by 4 wickets, so they were 6 wickets.
6 down.
A solid chase, 124 they were chasing, and got there in the last over with a few balls to spare. So a famous victory for Samoa, and they'll be looking to go back to back and try and knock off Indonesia, who are the reigning EAP champions at this level.
Indeed. And this next one's driven in the air. There's a deep mid-off. Bounced well before her at deep mid-off. That's Miriama Pita. And Miriama Pita, and she did a good bit of fielding there. So that's the end of the second over. Just the 2 runs off that over. So good bowling from Mapu. 10 without loss, Indonesia. Toby, I must ask you a question straight away. It's been on my mind ever since I knew that Samoa was going to be playing in this tournament. Is this a combined Samoa, American Samoa and Western Samoa team, or just from Western Samoa?
Yeah, so this is just Western Samoa.
Right. Here is this next one, and it's skied in the air. Mid-on coming in, takes the catch. So Pratiwi got a short of a length delivery, tried to hit it over the top, and just didn't time it, and it's a big wicket for Samoa. Pratiwi, the local Balinese opener. Let's just see, where does this pitch? Yeah, it was outside off stump too, so it was a little bit short and it was a bit wide, and it was well taken there by Jane Talilangi, or Manisi, Jane Talilangi Manisi, and well taken. Yeah, I just wondered about that, and also related to that is why they don't use the name Western Samoa. Because in rugby, they started out being Western Samoa, and then they changed to Manu Samoa. So I'm just wondering, cricket, why they just run with Samoa. I just wondered if you have any insight on that.
I suppose as a member of the ICC, the member that they're representing is Samoa International Cricket.
And this next one there's a big appeal to the new batter. That's Romalia. Wow, they sounded very confident there as Romalia just pushed it one outside the off stump. And no positive signal there from Alukapi, the umpire, as this one's just left alone outside off stump. So Lamoe in his second over, generating some good pace here. It's going to be a real challenge for this Indonesian under-19 women's side from what we've seen so far. Here's Lamoe again, and it's just watchfully left outside the off stump by Romalia.
So this is young Oliva Lamoe, and she just turned 15 last week, so the youngest player in the tournament.
Wow.
Opening the bowling for Samoa.
Prodigy. Very talented. There's always one. At school there was always one who was just way better than everyone else. I know it wasn't me. I know who it was actually. It was Tim Gregory. Anyway, here we go. On this next one, that's flashed at the outside off stump. So very, very good over there from Lamoe, the 15-year-old, a wicket maiden. So she now has figures of 1 for 8 off her 2 overs. Indonesia, after 3 overs, in the power play, it's 10 for 1. You know, it's just interesting that point on Samoa, because geographically, of course, you know, and nation-wise, they're Western Samoa and American Samoa, and there's a very clear divide between the two. And as my brother told me, I said, what's the difference between Western Samoa and American Samoa? I'll come back to that in a moment. Here's a new over starting from Mapu, and this is just defended by Saskrika Yoni. He sailed there. He sailed up to Hawaii, actually. He said the difference is Samoans who speak with an American accent. Yeah, anyway. Here we go again. This one's... She looks to cut that one away. Saskrika Yoni. Doesn't make contact. That's he said otherwise you wouldn't know any difference. Physically exactly the same, look the same, culturally seem very similar. Obviously American Samoa's a bit more Americanized, like McDonald's and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, here we go. This one's left alone and it's given wide by umpire Muriel Kenny from Vanuatu. Where's Vanuatu's cricket at relative to the rest of these teams out here for this series, Toby?
Yeah, it's a good question. They just didn't quite meet the qualifications for this tournament, but their women's team actually won the senior equivalent of this tournament, the East Asia Pacific Women's T20 World Cup Qualifier, which was in Vanuatu last September, and they went through unbeaten, so defeated PNG, Samoa, Japan, and the other teams, Fiji and Cook Islands, that were at that tournament. And they just recently, in the last 3 weeks, they've been playing in the UAE at the Women's T20 World Cup Qualifier. So they played against Sri Lanka and had a historic win against Zimbabwe, their women's team, which was their first win over a full member or a test-playing nation in the opening game. Their opening game of that Women's T20 World Cup qualifier. So that was a great win for Vanuatu, and they'll be looking to inspire more younger players within Vanuatu to play cricket, and I think we'll probably see them at the next tournament in 2 years' time at this qualifier.
So this over from Mapu, it's been a little bit erratic, 3 wide so far. There was a shout. There was a full toss off that last ball to Saskrika Yoni. Didn't make contact. But Mapu bowled that very good first over. I mean, she's only gone for 3 runs, but it's 3 wides. And she bowls Saskrika Yoni coming forward. Beaten. Looks like she was beaten outside the line of... Well, on the outside edge of her bat. Middle stump, knocked back, And that is the second wicket down for Indonesia. Sasrika Yoni never really looked comfortable in making just the one. And she's on her way back to the pavilion. What a sight that is when the wickets go back like that. So Samoa very much on top early on. Noralia is the new batter. So here's Mapu again, buoyed by that wicket. And Noralia just defends that one up to mid-on I should say. Very loud in the field, the Samoan side. I noticed in the senior men's international series I watched and commentated on here recently, there wasn't a lot of noise in the field. These young women are fairly rowdy. So that's 4 overs gone here at Udiana Cricket Ground. Indonesia struggling a little bit here, 13 for 2. Toby, that what you were saying about Vanuatu was very interesting because, I mean, yeah, for Vanuatu to be beating Zimbabwe at a senior level, that says a lot about the ability of the players. So it seems a little bit odd that the younger players are just not quite there, and I'll come back to you and just ask you a question about that in a moment. This one is played away by Romalia, down towards third. They're going to think about a second, but decide against it. This is Lamoe continuing here. So just 1 to Romalia. And I've got a slightly technical question for you, so maybe we'll wait till the end of the over. Just make a mental note of that. It's basically, what do you mean by they didn't meet the qualification? This one is hoisted away, or swung away I should say, into the leg side. They're going to come back for a second. Oh no, there's a run out. What happened there? Oh, you've got to feel for Noralia. She hit the ball into the leg side. There was certainly 1, probably 2, but there was a huge bit of hesitation halfway down the wicket, and she was run out by the length of Sunset Road. So, disaster for Indonesia. They lose their 3rd wicket, and now 14, oh, that will be 15 once that ticks over, 15 for 3. Schoolgirl stuff, you might say. Yeah, so Toby, so when you say Vanuatu didn't meet the qualification, was it that just because of something to do with like playing numbers or their form or financials or?
Yeah, I'll get into it in a moment. Just looking at the replay here, it's really good fielding there from Samoa and causing that confusion. It's always the way when you get confused when you're running between wickets. That's usually what leads to a run out, doesn't it?
Yeah. So in fact, Noralia wasn't the one that was run out. My mistake there. She was the striker, so she was coming back for the other one. It was Sasrika Yoni who was the unlucky one to have to head back to the pavilion. Not quite as bad as getting run out without facing the ball, but not the best either.
But yeah, the qualification for these events, essentially there's qualification for all ICC events. 1, you need to be an ICC member. That's starting point. And then for an under-19 qualification, you need to have a certain amount of teams playing junior cricket. I think that is either 8, 10 teams, essentially a league at the underage level. And then you also need to be playing at, have enough teams at the senior level as well. And essentially, I think the situation with Vanuatu and probably some other nations is with the COVID disruptions over the last few years, it just made things a bit challenging to get all league cricket happening over a 2-year period.
Especially in an island country as well, right? So here is this one struck nicely, but it's straight to mid-on again. Naralia just looking to lift that one over the top. The pressure's building on the scoreboard. That's the problem, but the downside to that is by holing out, you've just lost another wicket, Indonesia. So 15 for 4. So Samoa well and truly on top here. And Amoi, the 15-year-old, grabs her third wicket, 2 and 1 over. So Samoa, look, oh, don't you love seeing that? Pure excitement when a wicket falls. And that is the end of the over. No, it's not the end of the over yet. We've got the scoreboard saying it's the end of the over. Yes, it is the end of the over. So 15 for 4, 5 overs gone, and that was just the one. Oh, sorry, that was a wide. So there was a one. So it was two off that over. So Lemoy's now got 2 for 10. Yeah, 2 for 10 off 3. Sorry, I got confused between wickets and wides. But yes, being being an island nation, particularly in COVID, would have made it even harder, I imagine. Although, having said that, they probably play most of their cricket on the Vanalevu, or no, that's Fiji, isn't it? What am I talking about? Bowled again! Bowled again. Oh my goodness. Weo, first ball duck. And Aunt Samoa happy. Wow. Actually, Afi from Indonesia Cricket said to us just before, oh, that was a good ball too. It was enticing. Just floated up really. On a very good length. A Yorker length basically in the end. And so another wicket goes down, and Mapu, she's got 2 wickets as well. So 2 each to the bowlers plus a run out. And Indonesia, well, they could never have imagined this at the start of the innings. But it's going to put a serious dent in their hopes of qualifying for the Under-19 World Cup. That's a wide to the new batter, Murtiari. She'll be another Balinese player for sure with a name like Murtiari. Kadek Murtiari, she's number 2 in the family. Here's Mapu again, Samoan skipper, and Murtiari is just defending this one. Toby, it's not looking good for Indonesia here, is it?
No, after that first over where they scored 8 in the first over, the bounce back from Samoa to get 2 for 8 in the next 4 and a bit overs, it's a great start if you're a Samoan fan, isn't it? But on the flip side, if you're an Indonesian fan, probably just looking at this and thinking we just need a partnership. You never know, you can have a bit of a partnership, start to build a bit of confidence. There's still a long time to go in this game, isn't there? Yeah, there is. But at this is the problem. 5 down, and here's Mapu, and this is just defended by Mutiari. I watched a game between the Thailand men's side and the Indonesian men's side a couple of weeks ago, and a similar thing happened. There was just a load of wickets at the start, but then what the Indonesian guys did is they obviously just, look, we're not going to get a big score here, but let's make sure we bat out all our overs. And they didn't win in the end, but it was actually a lot closer than I thought it might have been, as this next one beats Murtiari outside the line of off stump. So very much on top here, Samoa. But yeah, trying to there's 15 overs left, so in theory, they can still get quite a good score, but the crucial figure is the 5 wickets down, and it's also a good opportunity for the Indonesian batters that maybe didn't get too much of a bat yesterday because it was a convincing win to show what they've got and really test the depth of the Indonesian batting. And you never know, you might find someone that steps up at number 7 or number 8 and makes a big score. So not all hope is lost just yet.
No, and I have seen low totals defended before. It does happen, but yeah, it's a very challenging situation, and it's interesting to see also with the Samoan approach. We're going to see Lamaui bowling her final over of the spell, 2 for 10. So Samoa, their plans are pretty clear. Let's get the rest of these wickets quickly. Here is Lamaui, nicely defended by how did Alfie say? Nganga. Oh, right. That's why I do a bit of Bahasa Indonesia, and I really struggle with NG. The airport, of course, is Nururai, so I'm just going to go with Nganga. As hard as it is to say, and she plays this next one between backward point and point. They get through for a single, so she's off the mark. Ngana. Yeah, NG's really difficult when it's not your natural tongue. But yes, Samoa. I'm going to bowl out Lamaui here. And why not? 2 for 11 off 3.2. Here she comes again. It's off 10 paces or so. And this one's lobbed up in the air, but it's found the gap behind point. They're going to get through for 2. So Mutiari's off the mark. Murtiari, I should say.
And if you are in the Indonesian camp, that's exactly what you need right now. Just get some singles, some twos. You never know, if you can start to push for a target towards 75, 80, 85, I think that will be a score that they'd probably back themselves to be able to defend that score if they can get up to that 75, 80 mark.
This time it's a very, I was going to say just short of a length delivery. Played from the crease by Murtiari. Doesn't make contact though, and through to the Samoa keeper, who is, that's a lovely name, Angel So'otanga. And this one, she's beaten again, so it's very good bowling here by Lamaui. Not really giving anything away. Just 3 runs off this over so far. 1 ball left in her spell. And once again, beaten outside the line of off stump, and in fact caught. Well, that was a fantastic delivery. Found the edge. It was taken by So'otanga behind the stumps. I actually watched that one on the screen. I don't normally watch them on the screen, but I saw there was a swing with this one. Really good swing. Found the edge. It was actually angling down leg side. Look at where the first slip went, Toby. First slip thought it was going down leg side, and it was well taken by the keeper. So another wicket down.
What was first slip doing there?
I have no idea, but it was what I'm saying is that I should have remind listeners again is that Toby and I are sitting, well, we're either at long leg or we're at deep extra cover, so I normally don't commentate off the screen. I don't enjoy doing that. I prefer to watch the ball live, but just on that particular ball I happened to watch the screen, and it was angled in towards leg and swung away beautifully, and it was a great wicket. Here's Mapu beginning a new over to Nyangana, and it is just defended into the leg side. So great spell from Mafawi. She's very impressive bowler. And that was it was a beautiful delivery. It just absolute perfect swinging delivery, found the edge and well taken. So Well done to her. As Mapu comes in again, into her last over of her spell. That's down the leg side. And that's wide. But she's only conceded 2 runs so far, Mapu. It's an indication of how well Samoa have bowled and how much Indonesia are struggling now at 20 for 6. Here's Mapu again. Right arm over the wicket. And is that an edge? No, I don't think so. Just by the wicketkeeper's reaction there, I thought it must have been an obvious edge, but Nangana survives. She's on 1. Bara is the new batter, yet to face a ball. Here's Mapu once again. And it's another beautiful delivery, short of a length. Nangana hanging the bat out there. Not really defending, not really attacking. Just listen to the team out there, Toby. There's a lot of enthusiasm.
Yeah, well, they know this is the last over of their opening bowler in Avita Mapu, and probably want to get one more wicket for her if they can.
This next one's wide outside off stump.
Been a great opening spell, hasn't it, by Mapu and Lamoe?
Oh.
4 overs each. Picked up 6 wickets between them so far, including a run out. Be interesting to see what the new bowlers come on. But what an opening spell.
Yeah. It's this time Ngana's just defending that one. So 2 balls left in Mapu's spell. He's only conceded the 8 runs. I can barely remember anything off the bat, actually. Has there even been a... No, well, there was one out here. There was definitely a single, but barely anything's come off the bat in this spell. This one's left alone, and it's another wide. Yeah, I have a feeling that she's only conceded 1 off the bat. There was the one out to it wide mid-off. I don't remember any other ones.
She's bowled 7 wides out of her 9 runs. So
right. Okay. I thought I was about that.
7 wides out of 8 runs.
Ah, there you go. I am paying attention.
Right, it just hasn't quite updated yet on the score I'm looking at, so you're spot on. Only 1 run from the bat. Quite an amazing effort, isn't it?
And that is... Is that the end of the over? There's still 1 left. Still 1 to go. Oh, yes. Yeah, that is kind of incredible, isn't it? Just... Actually, just speaking of economical spells, I did see in the news the other day, because it made pretty much every news channel around the world. So well, let's just let Mapu finish his spell. Let's see if she can finish with a wicket. Well, she might if she gets one on target. It's another wide. So that's 10 runs conceded now off 3.5 overs, just 1 off the bat. But I think you know what I'm about to say. The Indonesian player, the senior level, 7 for none.
Yeah, Romalia. She was the one that was involved in the run out earlier today in that mix up between the batters. But 7 for none, making her international senior debut. But good to see her, the 17-year-old, so eligible for the under-19s as well. But incredible effort. I'm sure we'll get to see her bowl her spinners in the second innings.
Oh, I didn't appreciate it was the same Romalia. Oh, wow. Oh, right. Okay. Well, so it's definitely not all over yet.
If she can get 7 for 0 today, then Indonesia a strong chance, you'd have to say.
Here's Mapu again. And this time it's outside off stump and it's a wide. So what do we have in this over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wides in this over so far. Well, she's giving herself a chance just by frustrating the batter. She's going to come round the wicket. Maybe that's a good idea. Let's see how she goes. Right arm round the wicket, and it's just defended by Ngana, and that is the end of Mapu's spell. So Mapu finishes with 2 for 12 off her 4 overs, but that only had 1 run off the bat. I don't think I've ever seen an analysis like that before, but very economical, and the 2 wickets is the bit that counts. Yeah, so that Romalia, I mean, I didn't see the match. I don't even think it was played in Bali. Oh, it may have been, I'm not sure. But that's right, I was out of the country at the time. I was in the Philippines, and I read about it. Phenomenal. It made front page of BBC Sport and everything. So, yeah. Oh, wow. I hadn't clocked that it was the 17-year-old. Or if I did, I couldn't remember. Certainly didn't realise that she was playing today. So, that's exciting. Senior debut. Wow. What a story.
Yeah, remarkable effort, and it's just great to see more young people, boys and girls, playing cricket within Indonesia and making their international debut. So, I mean, that would be a memory for Romalia that she should remember for the rest of her life.
Well, I guess things have changed a bit, but I'm sure it would have made one of the Indonesian newspapers, and their parents will keep the cuttings for that one for sure. As this first one, this is Tafia bowling now, and that was a wide to begin her spell. So she's another right armour, bowling to the left-handed Bara. Just a few paces, and Bara's just defensively forward. Looks like she's learned her cricket from Brian Lara with that defensive shot. I think you say that about pretty much every left-hander. But yeah, the Jakarta Post, or whichever language her parents are comfortable in, probably a Bahasa Indonesia paper, I'd imagine. This is another wide. There's Tafia just struggling slightly here. Yes, amazing. It made every news outlet I'm aware of that covers sport. A remarkable 7 for 0 return by Romalia. That's down the leg side again.
Well, you were mentioning earlier about your journey into cricket within Indonesia, and if you didn't know that cricket was being played in Indonesia, that 7 for 0 performance from Romalia certainly will make a few more people aware.
Yeah, absolutely. Although having said that as well, as this one is an outside edge off the bat of Bara, behind point, safely into the gap though, and she gets off the mark with a single. Having said that though, I know that Indonesia's presence at the last Under-19 World Cup definitely didn't go unnoticed. I heard they conducted themselves very well out there, and obviously being a big tournament on the at the senior level, at the Under-19 level, but against the bigger countries and, as you say, test playing nations and things like that. I think the awareness is there, but I'll give you a stat, Toby. You've probably actually got better numbers than me, but this is what I worked out myself, as this next one's just defended again, as Tafia's halfway through her first over. Just come back to that. This one's driven back to the bowler and there's no run. Indonesia apparently has around about 200,000 registered players, and New Zealand has something like 50 or 70 or something. And I don't know how you work all those numbers out, obviously, and it's kind of difficult to do because of different. So there's a wide, this next ball, different leagues and registered, unregistered. But I was quite amazed when I heard that there's basically more people in Indonesia play cricket than New Zealand. Obviously, there's partly because it's a significantly bigger population, but there's this next one's in the air, hit out towards the covers. Oh, she comes in, slides on her knees, but can't take the catch. and not sure if that was a chance or not. Hard to say. I haven't seen the replay of it yet, but let's have a look at this now. Just on a replay. It was hit in the air. Cover came in. Yeah, it did carry. Would have been a good catch. Would have been a very good catch off Nagana there. So she survives. So unlucky there for Tafia. Another wide. So there's a lot of wides piling up here. Indonesia won't mind that though. This time Barra's hitting the pad. There's an appeal. But not given. So that is the end of the over. 32 for 6 Indonesia, 9 overs gone. So yeah, playing numbers.
Yeah, I think the numbers, the 200,000 that you talk about, that includes all the people that go through school programs, and obviously Indonesia, the population, the size of that it is, 200,000 out of 275 million. It's actually not that large a number. I don't know, out of that 200,000, how regular they're playing, but certainly that awareness and engagement of cricket across all the provinces within Indonesia is that high 200,000 mark.
Yeah, that definitely makes a bit more sense. I can't imagine there's that many games going on each Saturday around the country. Here's a new over. This is Farane here. Just coming in off a short run up. Looks like she's an off-break bowler from what I can see. Very tall.
Obviously, as you'd be aware, the pond games within Indonesia, for those unaware, national sporting games, multi-sport, which is supported.
It's like the Olympics, basically. Yeah.
It is like the Olympics, isn't it? And cricket's inclusion at the pond games has just meant that growth of cricket in Indonesia across all the provinces.
This one's skied in the air. And they're going to come back for a second. It went over the head of point. And that's 2 runs. Hello. Yeah, I think have we lost it here? I'm just going to carry on with this one for a minute, Toby, and I think the guys will tell us if we've got a problem. Or maybe it's just something's just cut out here, because I can't hear anything through the Stump Effects microphone or through the microphone on the outside of the field. But Farane there, she actually looks a bit more of like just a gentle swing bowler. And anyway, here she comes again. Down the grounders in Ghana. Times it nicely. Up to the fielder for 4. I think we'll just carry on here, Toby. And if sometimes I lose the hearing in my headphones, and I can't hear much coming through the headphones from the effects microphones at the moment. So I think we're still good. This one's up in the air again. Oh, and she's dropped it. Oh, that was unfortunate. That was the captain, Avatia Fetu, or Mapu, I should say. And it's a single. So that is the end of the 10th over. So Indonesia 36 for 6 after the 10th over. And probably a good time for them to take a break. Just reassess where they're at. 36 for 2 off 10 overs. Barra's there on 1 and Ghana on 5. I think this microphone's okay, Toby. I'm just not sure about the other one. Check. Wait to hear the noise of the crowd here. A small crowd, it must be said. But really, really nice to see a few people in here today at Udiana Cricket Ground to watch this match. Beautiful day, of course, as you'd expect in Bali. It's going to be Salima to come in now from the northern end. Not surprising. Samoa's made a change, and this first one's a good delivery. And then Ghana's beaten outside her off stump. So Indonesia just really needs to consolidate here. We've got 10 more overs to still post some sort of total, and this next one is down the leg side, and it's a wide. So Indonesia doing it mainly in wides at the moment, must be said. So if Samoa were to lose this game, I'd say it's a remote possibility at the moment, but if it was to happen, so many wides definitely hasn't helped their cause. Alright, we're good now. I think we've got both our mics working. So Toby will be back on in a minute. This one is skied behind point, and they get through for a single. So
hello.
we just got the technicians here from Bali Streaming Services. Great team it is that we have too, that provide all the production facilities for us here in Bali. They do a sterling job every day, the long days as well. This next one is played up to long on by Bara, and in fact they're going to get two. There's a misfield out there, so that's well run. That's exactly what they need to do, as you said, Toby. Just look for every single run they can here.
Yeah, absolutely. If they can keep this partnership going, and I think a score anything over 75, 80, they would give themselves a really good chance based off their bowling and fielding that we saw yesterday. Keep extras to a minimum. 75, 80 is probably a target that I think would put them, in with a really good shot.
This time Bara works it behind square off her pads, and they go through for a single. I've got a very random question for you, and you may not know the answer to this, but one thing I've noticed watching cricket in Indonesia is that the umpires check how many balls are bowled so far in the over every ball. Is that because they don't use over counters anymore, or maybe you don't even know the answer, but every ball square leg will check with the other umpire to see how many balls are gone in the over?
You talking about in this series, or?
No, in every game I've watched in Indonesia.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how the umpires count the overs in Indonesia, but we would say it's great that the umpires are communicating with each other, and better to over-communicate than under-communicate. So if you need to check every ball, then so be it.
I saw it in an international match, or an international series a couple of weeks ago. Here's Salima again. And this time Ghana's beaten outside off stump. So she's still there in Ghana, that's important. She's faced the 21 balls for her 6 runs, with her Bara on 4. Indonesia now, after 11 overs, 41 for 6. Yeah, so gone are the days, obviously, what I used to have to do, and I'm sure you did. If you had to umpire, you have to find 6 stones and put them in your pocket, and then work out a little system of counting each delivery. I'd generally ask square leg if I thought there was maybe 2 left in the over. Didn't do it every ball, but I've noticed, in all the games I've watched here, they do it every ball. Maybe it's just a habit. It's a bit like touching gloves. I'm never ever going to do that playing cricket, but these things creep into the game. It's going to be Farani to continue, right arm round the wicket to Bara. And that's outside off stump, and it's a wide.
Yeah, we often talk about batting in partnerships or bowling in partnerships, but umpiring in partnerships is also something that is really important. You are out there for a long time. You do want to be communicating with your other umpire or your umpiring team, and if that is through counting balls, each ball, I think that if that helps you concentrate and make better decisions and help manage the match better, then all power to them, I say.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing worse if you're a batting side and they undercount by a ball, or if the bowling side overcount by a ball. This one's down the leg side and it's a wide, and they're going to go through for a run as well. So that's really 2 wides to the Indonesian total. Every wide and run counts at the moment. 44 for 6 now. Yeah, I can think of one umpire from New Zealand in particular. I won't mention his name. Let's just say he had a fairly big international personality. Slightly crooked finger as well. And this time it's pushed into the covers and they go through for a single. But there's a few times he just miscounted, and that's why I say, like, I think that's why what you say makes so much sense, is that if there's 2 people out there, you shouldn't be miscounting. So anyway, probably enough of that topic. This time it's played up to mid-on. They run on the shot. Very good running from Bara. She's very quick between the wickets. She's very short, but she's very fast. Interesting too, with just speaking of the umpires, come back to that. Here's Farani again, and this time Ngana plays it out to deep square leg or deep mid wicket, and they go through for a single. Oh, and there's 2 backing up, and they both miss it, and they get through for 2. Just back to umpires, and in this series, we've actually got a couple of neutral umpires. One from Malaysia and one from Vanuatu. This time it's Ngana beaten outside the line of off stump. And I was just thinking how that's actually pretty cool. Oh, sorry, and one from Australia as well. 3 neutral umpires. Well, they're all neutral, of course, but I'm just saying one of them's from Papua New Guinea. This one's played up in the air towards mid-on. It just bounces short. That was unlucky for, that was Manisi coming in there. Just couldn't quite get to it. So, quite a productive over, that one for Indonesia. Now Farani's had conceded 12 off her 2 overs, and off that over we had 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 off it. So this is good from Indonesia. They're on to 49 for 6 off 12 overs. Run rate of 4 and over. So if they keep going at this speed, they'll get through to 8. Yeah, my question is how do you come to choose the umpires? So it's a very long way of asking that question.
Yep, so a few of these umpires are on the International Development Panel of umpires.
Right.
So umpire Claire Polisak, Alu Kappa, Kalidas Viswanadan. They're all on the International Development Panel. Essentially, they get nominated by their home member board, so that would be Cricket Australia, Cricket PNG, Malaysia Cricket Association. And then based off availability, geographical location, how many umpires are required, it gets selected through from our ICC match officials department. For, as you would understand, there's umpires getting appointed to matches, international.
Hold on, wait, get back.
Umpires are being appointed to international matches all over the world. Some of the umpires you'd be more familiar with if you're following the test playing nations are from the elite panel, the umpire elite panel. So they're doing test matches, World Cups.
Yeah, okay, I see. So. Yeah, I was just curious, this down the leg side. I just wondered, for instance, why there might not be an Indonesian umpire, given that the Indonesian umpire could be umpiring, Samoa against Papua New Guinea or something like that. But makes sense. There's obviously a formula behind it.
Yeah, there is an Indonesian umpire on the development panel, Suresh Subramanian,
Ooh.
who was here in Indonesia, in Bali, sorry, the last few days, but unfortunately his availability meant that he wasn't able to officiate for the whole tournament, so he had to make himself unavailable. But it is a good observation that it would have been nice to have an Indonesian umpire in this tournament.
Okay. Anyway, back out in the middle. Just tuned in. Indonesia is batting first. They lost the toss. Samoa inserted Indonesia, and it's down the leg side from Salima. So another wide. 53 for 6 is the score, and Ghana's still there on 12, so she's actually doing a really good job here. She's faced 27 balls, so you might say she's scoring slowly, but her job's just to stay out there. And Bara's been good since she's come in. She's 6 off 8 balls. She faces now and drives that past the bowler up to mid-on, and they go through for a single. 2 balls left in the over, so quite vocal, the small Indonesian fan base here. But as I've mentioned throughout the day, we're very blessed in Bali to have this Udiana cricket ground. This time she's beaten outside off stump is Ghana, and there's an appeal, but there's no run. But yes, blessed to have this ground, and Bali really is a big centre for playing cricket, and the national teams play a lot of their fixtures here, pretty much all of them I think. Can't remember the last time Indonesia didn't play in Bali. That is the end of another over. 13 gone. Indonesia 55 for 6. And Toby, that target that you had in mind of around 75 is getting a little bit closer now.
Yeah, if you're in the Indonesian team, you're probably wanting to reassess that target, and 75 might be a bit low. So they'd probably be looking to score about 90 if they can reassess, and if you get a target, if you can score 90, I think they'd put them in the box seat. From an Indonesian perspective, we've seen it in previous matches and previous tournaments at this age group. Sometimes mid-80s is around a score, about a par score, so if they could score 90 based off what we saw yesterday from Indonesia's bowling, and of course Ramalia in the team, and if she can create some magic, it will make things difficult for Samoa. It's been a really good fight back, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you say that, but I sort of come back to what I've seen today, and I mean, Samoa must have batted pretty well yesterday. To chase down 120, I mean, that Papua New Guinea side was not a bad side. I mean, they've got some good bowlers. Just from what I saw today, albeit against a Fiji side that struggled, as the first ball from Tafia. In fact, I think there's a bowling change here. That's not Tafia. I just haven't flicked over to say who that is. Let's just check out that number. Can't see the back of his shirt. Number 3. It's 9. Okay, sorry. I thought my eyes are deceiving me. Anyway, it's worked into the leg side, and they get through for a single. And so this is. Is it 9 or 3?
I believe it's a 9, but she may have rolled up her sleeves, which could be.
That could be the reason. Okay, let's go with Tafia then. So she's bowling her second over Tafia. That's a full toss. It's played to mid-wicket. They run on the shot. No, she's going to be run out. Well, that was a big risk. Didn't really. The problem there with Nagana, she timed it very well, but hit it straight to mid-wicket. Took off for the single. And she was run out fairly comfortably in the end. It was a full toss, really timed it. It was picked up cleanly. The ball was thrown in accurately as well, most importantly. And Tafia took the ball behind the stumps, and Ghana's run out. So there's another twist. You're right, Toby. It's clearly number 9, isn't she? I just didn't pick that up in the previous over.
Well fielded there from the Samoan team. Clean pickup, clean back to the bowler. You have to count yourself a little bit unlucky to be run out in that situation. Extremely well fielded from Samoan team, and that's probably the wicket that they needed, I would say.
Yeah. You're certainly building a case here based on the matches I didn't see yesterday. As I mentioned earlier in the previous match, I attended a Balinese wedding for the first time ever yesterday, having lived here for 6 years and been travelling here for 10 years, or 11 years really. And that was a very, very special experience. But anyway, love being back at the cricket, of course. Here's Tafir again, and this one is off the toe of the bat, but Kiao holes out to square leg. First ball. Golden duck.
A good catch there from Luella Bracey. Pretty happy with the catch there, wasn't she?
Yeah, it was a good catch. I mean, it wasn't a hard catch, but it was a good catch in the circumstances, I guess is what I'm trying to say. In fact, that was Bara who was dismissed then. I thought it was. The scorecard was around the wrong way there. I thought there can't be too many shorter players than Bara in the Indonesian side. So she didn't make that many, Bara, but she looked dangerous actually. So I agree, Toby. It's a big wicket. So first ball to the new batter. This is Penun. It's defended back to Tafir. Of course, averting the hat trick. There's been a couple of bowlers on a hat trick today.
So it was a 38-run partnership there for the 7th wicket partnership, and then for both batters to go out in consecutive balls. 2 new batters at the crease. If you're Indonesia, you probably need to start again now. And
Stuck on the pad, first ball. The second ball is Penun. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's cliche, I know, so I probably don't even need to say it, but maybe for newer observers of cricket, the amount of times 2 batters fall so quickly after each other, even on consecutive balls, as you say, Toby. I mean, that's just the worst possible outcome for Indonesia. Now you've got 2 new batters at the crease, numbers 9 and 10, and now really it is a matter of batting out the overs. If I was the Indonesian captain or coach right now, I'd be saying, just get to the 19th over and then maybe see what. And bearing in mind, Samoa's bowled out the opening bowlers already.
yeah. Well, the good news for you is that the Indonesian captain finds herself at the crease here in Lee Chow, so she has, she's got the responsibility of captaincy and now the responsibility at the crease to, let's say, to a partner there in Penun, let's bat the next 6 overs or so. If we bat the next 6 overs, we might be able to get a score, at around that 75, 80, 85 mark.
Here's Salima again, over the wicket, and it's a full toss, and it's pulled away, but there's a fielder 3/4 of the way back to the boundary, and they're only able to get a single. So Lee Chow is off the mark. It's very helpful having you here, Toby, with just moments like that. If I was the captain, as I said, and you said, well, Andy, she is the captain. Here is Salima once again. And that's on the line of leg stump, is it? There's an appeal, stifled. Not given. She was, again, just happened to glance that one off the monitor. I thought it was quite a good shout, actually, but...
Maybe just going a little bit too high, but certainly worth asking the question there from Salima.
Here she is, from the northern end of the ground, the Kuta end. It's a big, wide, full toss, so that's going to be a full no ball and a free hit. Of course, you can't be penalised twice on the same ball. You can't be a wide and a no ball on the same no ball. So sometimes in higher level higher standards of cricket, you might see a bouncer that goes way over the batsman's head or the batter's head. That's given a wide rather than a no ball or something like that. Here is the Penun driving. But yes, just to clarify what I'm saying is that in some levels of cricket there's a restriction on how many bouncers you can bowl in an over, and so you can be no balled for bowling too many bouncers. Here's the next one from Salima. It's down the leg side and it's worked away by Penun down towards our commentary position at backward square, and they get through for 2. It's good running. Indonesia move on now to 61 for 8. Penun's off the mark with 2. But yes, so like if there's a limitation, let's say there's you're allowed 1 bouncer per over, and if you bowl another one, that would be given a no ball. But if you bowl it so far and high over a batter's head, that's considered a wide rather than a no ball. This next one's outside the line of off stump to Penun from Salima and signalled wide. 1 more crucial run to the Indonesia total.
So far in this innings, there's been, I think, about 29 wides. So you take that off the score. If you're Samoa, 33 off the bat, make that 30 wides. It'll certainly be something that they'll be focusing on. You imagine for the remainder of the tournament how they can reduce the amount of extra balls they're bowling. It's not just extra balls, but it's extra time out there as well. And we know the rules with T20 playing conditions being used, that the longer you take to bowl your innings, then you have to have the more field restrictions come in towards the end of, towards the last few overs. So you get penalised twice, both with the wide but then with the field restrictions too.
One's outside the line of off stump from Salima. Drew the shot, but it was so wide it was called wide again. So yeah, it's a little bit untidy, but we can't be too tough on them. I mean, I'd love to know, for example, the amount of games in their whole playing lives a lot of these players have actually played, and this is a different level of pressure. This is an ICC World Cup qualifier. It's not a game of backyard cricket, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in a way that once you get bowling, you've bowled a few wides. I've been in this situation as a player when I was a kid. It becomes hard. It gets into your head. How do I bowl the next one straight?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in these playing conditions, you do get penalised just for being a fraction down leg side as well, whereas probably cricket back home, that's probably not going to be called a wide, or if it's slightly too far outside the off stump, you can see that blue line on the screen, that will get called a wide, whereas maybe back home, that's a dot ball. So it is tough.
Not just that. Just looking at that blue line on the screen that you're talking about. So let's say it's a right-hander facing here. I bet James Anderson's bowled a lot of balls exactly on that blue line in his Test career that were never called a wide.
Exactly. If this is Test match cricket, the majority of these would not be called wides, would they? So it is tough on tough playing conditions, but I suppose that is what T20 cricket is about.
It's also quite interesting the type of bowlers they choose for this tournament. I'm just thinking about the side in particular at the moment. As this next one from Farani is swept all the way along the ground, out to the boundary for 4 on the Nusa Dua side, or the eastern side of Udiana Oval. It was beautifully played by Lee Chow, picked the length and swept it away for a lovely boundary. Indonesia move on to 68 for 8.
Could we see a captain's knock here from Lee Chow for our team?
Yeah, it was a full toss, in fact. Gave it the treatment it deserved. It must be said, Toby, that the Samoan side actually have most of their players inside the ring, which is quite unusual, I would have thought, for a T20 at this stage of the innings. This one is swept again, but straight to square leg. Misfielded, but doesn't concede a run. Yeah, so Samoa's keeping all their players up, so they're making it as hard as possible for Indonesia here. Really, and I have to say that's very good tactics. So often I've watched games recently where they just put fielders out straight away and just start giving away easy runs. As this one is bowled! Lee Chow. She went to work it away through the leg side again. Missed it. And I'm pretty sure that hit her off stump. Let's have a look again. It was floated up there. She just didn't get to the pitch of it. And it knocked back Lee Chow's off stump. So, since that very useful partnership 10 minutes or so ago ended, Indonesia is losing their way slightly here, but as I say, very good tactics by Samoa. They're just forcing the mistakes, really, forcing Indonesia to hit out by not giving them easy singles. So excellent captaincy, excellent game strategy. As the last batter comes in, this is Bungie, and she's just taking a middle guard. So it's going to be Tafir to continue. She's got 2 for 13. Halfway through a third over. This is right up in the block hole. Defended by Bungie. So Udiana Cricket Ground is the main ground in Bali and one of the main grounds in Indonesia, in the Badung province of Bali, or the Badung Regency of Bali, I should say, Bali being a province. Oh, that's driven nicely by Bungie. Out to wide, long off. Are they going to come back for 2? That was probably wise. Every run counts. That takes them on to 69. Just one more ball left in Bungie's spell. Sorry, Bungie's third over. Sorry, Tafir's third over. Just one more ball. This is the last ball of the 16th over. Here she is again, Tafir. And this one's defended. And there's a short mid-on in place there. It didn't quite carry. And that is the end of the over. So it's 69 for 9. So one thing about this Indonesian innings, Toby, is although they've lost wickets, they've at least maintained a minimum kind of level of run rate of around 4, just over 4, 4.31 at the moment. The runs haven't dried up completely, despite them losing wickets.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they were 6 for 18 or 6 for 19, which is always going to be a challenging position to respond from. But they've kept a positive mindset, being able to build that partnership there for the 7th wicket partnership, and they've put themselves in a position where they would give themselves a really good chance of winning now. So, yeah, it's game on, I would say. If they can get a few early wickets and a few of those Samoan big hitters that we saw yesterday, if they can...
Farani into a new over. This is the second ball, and this one finds the outside edge of Bungie's bat. But they're able to get through for a single, no slip in place. Actually, it's about the only ring fielder they haven't got in place. They've got a cover point halfway to the boundary and a deep square leg. But otherwise, everyone's inside the circle as this next one from Farani is down the leg side. Signalled wide, so 70. Your magical number of 75 is creeping up, Toby. I'm sure you've got data on this. You're not just plucking it out of the air. I'm sure in your day job at some point you've run the numbers on this. Obviously I'm joking, but you're getting pretty accurate here. And 4 runs off it at the moment.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of cricket at this level, so maybe too much, but it's very entertaining, and as you can see, the way that both teams are approaching this match with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. I think we're set for a really exciting second innings, particularly if Indonesia are able to get a few early wickets. It will make it very interesting.
This next one, seeing Penun beaten outside the line of off stump. She's been there for 13 balls now. So again, She only got the 2 runs, but crucially, there's only 1 ball left in the 17th over now, so they're doing their job, although she's bowled. Pirani beats her outside the line of off stump, so Panuna's bowled, clips the top of the bails, and Indonesia finished 71 all out at the end of the 17th over. So you'd have to say that was almost an innings of 2 halves. Indonesia were rocked by a bit of an onslaught from Samoa early on. As Toby mentioned, they were 6 down for around about 19 runs. So to get back to 71 and set a target of 72, I think they'll be very happy with that, all things considered. And given that also they didn't get first use of bowling, they were inserted by Samoa, who won the toss, which incidentally was conducted by the Indian consulate, I'm told, Toby. I did see him actually leaving in the car. I saw this really flash car pulling out of the car park after I went to buy some dragon fruit juice. And I found out later it was Indian consulate. Anyway, that's all from me and Toby. For now, we'll be back as the second innings starts.
Let's go.
So we're back underway here at Udiana Cricket Ground. Opening batting for Samoa is So'otaga and Tonei. And opening bowling for Indonesia, it's going to be Murtiari from the southern end of the ground. Indonesia got quite an attacking field. There's a slip and a gully. And just the one... Oh no, the two fielders out. There's a third and a long leg. It's going to be Murtiari coming in now. Very good ball to So'otaga, who's the opening batter for Samoa. Here she comes again, Murtiari. And once again, So'otaga is beaten outside the line of off stump. Good start here by Murtiari. It's exactly what Indonesia requires. Indonesia, of course, playing in their black strip today. Sometimes they play in red, but in black today. Here's Murtiari again. And this time she's clean bowled. Across the line. So'otaga playing across the line to a good length ball by Murtiari. And just look at that Indonesian side. Joyful, and why not? Defending just 71. That is the perfect start. Stumps shattered. Very risky shot there from So'otaga, trying to work it away into the leg side. And Murtiari, Kadek Devi Murtiari, Balinese player. A perfect start. So we're going to look at the replay now. It was a bit ungainly, that shot. As Toby comes back to join me. Two slips in place now. Indonesia.
I was just going to say a big moment in Devi Murtiari's career. That's her first international wicket, so didn't pick up a wicket yesterday. What a moment for her.
Absolutely. Here she comes again. And a good swing and a miss. So Lee Chow really backing Murtiari here. Two slips in a gully. Love to see this. This is great. Psychological more than anything else. So this is Farane. Oh, it's a wild swing across the line. Through to the keeper. So 5 balls gone.
And this is one of the key wickets for Samoa. Farane yesterday scoring 44 off just the 30 deliveries, so she can hit big, and Indonesia will no doubt have their plans to try and get her early.
Take strike. Last ball of the over. Murtiari charging in, and Farane slams that one away. Wide of mid-on, out to the boundary for 4. So her intentions are clear. Might be the first over. And it was outside the line of off stump, and she heaved it through mid-wicket out to the boundary for 4. Presumably that's what you were talking about, Toby.
Yeah, she was a real game changer in yesterday's performance, coming out at number 3. Vera Farane scored 44 off 31 deliveries. I think whacked a couple of sixes in that innings as well. So a key wicket to take, but the longer she stays out there for Samoa, the better their chances, that's for sure.
Okay, so it's going to be Nuralia to open for Indonesia from the northern or Kuta end of the ground. You'll notice on the screen she's charging in now, and immediately Tonu'u is beaten outside the line of off stump. Not seen Nauralia in person before, or bowling, but she's wearing, I guess, a cricketing form of hijab, which I guess is not surprising given that the vast majority of the Indonesian population is a Muslim. It's down the leg side and signalled wide, but just geographically in Indonesia, spread across 3 time zones, and the far west of the country, which is like Java and then the bigger island of Sumatra, predominantly Muslim. And you've got Bali in the middle, which is Hindu, but that's only 5 million people. We'll come back to that. Here's Nauralia again. And it's hit straight to backward point. The catch is taken and Tanu'u's gone. So great bowling there by Nauralia. She drew in the shot and it was well taken, angled in, and lovely, well taken there by Bara at backward point, number 21. So a big wicket.
Yeah, Hilva Nauralia picking up where she left off from yesterday, the player of the match in yesterday's performance with her 3 for 11 against Fiji, and proving to be a handful again today with a wicket on just her 3rd delivery.
So just finishing off that geography lesson. So yes, the west very much the more heavily populated part of Indonesia. 2 main islands, Java and Sumatra. Sumatra, I think, is the 4th or 5th biggest island in the world. And of course you've got Borneo to the north. That's a mixture of different nationalities, and then pretty much everything to the east out towards Papua is Catholic actually, or Christian. Here is the next ball from Nuralia, played up to mid-on by Manase, and there's no run, so a very, very good response here from Indonesia, Toby. That's exactly what the doctor ordered, as they say, or the manager or the coach.
Yeah, absolutely, and Hilva is the only player in the Indonesian team that her home team is Jakarta, as you mentioned, with the majority from Bali or NTT. I think there might be one from Papua and one from Banten making up the squad for Indonesia.
Well, that really surprises me, just one from Java then. Oh, sorry, Banten's also Java, but yeah, okay, just so a lot from NTT. That's Nusa Tenggara Timur, so it's the eastern part of Nusa Tenggara province. So that's the islands of like Komodo, Flores, Sumbawa, Sumba, all of those islands. Lombok as well, actually. That's wide, outside off stump. Yeah. Papua, of course, is the most furthest east province of Indonesia. One of the largest provinces as well on the western side of New Guinea Island. New Guinea being the 2nd biggest island in the world. And that one's hoisted out into the deep. There's 4 players converging on that, but it falls into the gap. And just the 1 run. Of course, you come from the biggest island in the world, Toby. Sorry, no, Australia doesn't count, does it? It's because it's a continent. It's Greenland, I should say. Greenland's the biggest island in the world. Yeah, New Guinea's number 2. And I think after that it's Borneo, Madagascar, Sumatra. I think it's in that order. Here's Nuralia again. It's down the leg side. It's wide, and they're going to get an extra run as well.
But yes, it is. Yeah, it's just great to see within the Indonesian lineup players represented from all across the country. I mean, to have, what did I say, Banten, Jakarta, Bali, Papua, NTT, all these provinces represented within the team. It shows the growth of cricket within Indonesia and that development across all the different provinces, which is fantastic to see.
This one's down the leg side again. Is it going to be signalled wide? No, perhaps it just clipped the pad. So that is the end of the second over. Samoa in response to Indonesia's 71, 9 for 2 at this stage. So Nuralia a successful over. Yeah, I was really surprised with the number from NTT, because in the men's senior team, it's pretty much just Bali and Java. So, yeah, just looking at your sheet there, Toby, it's kind of astonishing, really. It's like half the team, basically. I don't know what they had, and there must be something in the sporting culture out there, or I'm not quite sure what the reason is. Here comes Mutiara again, and this first ball is played by Varane up to mid-on, and there's no run.
Yeah, we will try and get this checked, because potentially it might not be where they were born or raised, but potentially the province that they're representing at the moment. So we will double check some of this, but I do know there is representation from multiple provinces.
This time she's beaten outside off stump Varane. Good bowling by Mutiari. I'm sure that's right, Toby. It's just kind of. I mean, I'm not familiar with the women's senior team as much, but I'm very familiar with the men's side, obviously, because I commentated a 5-match series just a couple of weeks ago. This is a full toss, but that's a good field placement out on the wide cow corner boundary, really. So smart play by Indonesia. They gave away a 4 early, but they made the field change, and exactly where Farani hit the previous boundary in the previous over. There's a fielder out there now, so good thinking by Indonesia. So they've got one fielder out at basically wide mid-wicket or cow corner. I'm just trying to pick up where the other one is. I'll come back to that. And she struck on the pad this time. The other fielder's at third. It's still an attacking field. One slip, a gully. Point, cover, mid-off. Mid-on, mid-wicket. So no one behind square on the leg side. This is good bowling by Mutiari. Just conceded 5 off 1.4 overs. Here she comes again. And beaten again. Manasi.
You can tell that the Indonesian team are very well drilled. Their lengths are impeccable, and the fact that they can afford not to have someone out on the deep square leg boundary shows that they have a lot of faith in their bowlers to bowl nice and full, attack that off stump or just outside off, which is exactly what they're doing at the moment.
And this time it's played up to mid-on. I also quite like there's no run. It's the end of the over, in fact, as well. So 3 overs gone. Samoa 10 for 2. Remember, they're chasing 72 to win. So the required run rates shouldn't be a problem. It's only 3.65. But it's the wickets that are crucial here. And they're 2 wickets down already. And it will be Nuralia to continue from the Cooter end of the ground. Here she comes, right arm over the wicket. And that's smashed through the leg side. There's 2 fielders out there, but Farane picked the length straight away. There's a fielder at just in front of square, one at mid-wicket, and she found the gap between both of them out to the boundary for 4.
Vera Farane hails from the village in Samoa. Loves hitting boundaries, doesn't she?
Just looking at your team sheet there, I love the name of this side, Night Fury. Actually, just looking at that, a lot of them play for New Zealand clubs.
Yeah, so...
Samoan. Well, that's not surprising, is it? This one's again.
Wow, that is hit hard.
She just hits it so hard. I think Indonesia, it's 4 more runs, by the way, out to just in front of square. The square leg fielder had no chance. I think they might want to adjust their field here, Indonesia, and just bring those two fielders a bit closer together. Just, mind you, they're probably thinking about where she hit the ball off the at the other end. But yeah, this is tough, isn't it?
Yeah, so the Samoan team of the squad of 14, I think they've got 7 that reside locally in Samoa and 7 that reside within New Zealand. As that, we see that better delivery there from Hilva, just a bit more outside off stump, outside of the swinging arc of Vera Farane, and that's probably what that line is. Probably the line you need to be bowling to her.
Yeah, as I've mentioned a few times on air, I watched a men's series a couple of weeks ago, senior men, and the amount of catches where guys tried to play across the line. Here we go once again, and this is down the leg side and it's wide. They're trying to basically swing through the line of the ball, which is not quite there to hit outside off stump. And I forgot so many catches were taking it. Backward point, short third man, by the wicket keeper. So I agree with you, Toby. That's probably where she just wants to be just short of a length and just a little bit outside off stump. This time it's hit out to the fielder in the deep. Oh, that's well stopped. Will they come back for 2? No. That was travelling.
And it's a little bit challenging with Hilva bowling these big in-swingers, how far outside off stump she has to almost start her delivery, because it just does keep coming back into the batter, and a batter of Vera Farane's quality is just going to say thank you very much if it's in her arc.
This one's outside the line of off stump and it's wide. Yeah, I saw it. It's just sort of slipped my mind completely just having a look at some of these clubs. Papatoetoe, Auckland University, Cornwall, Waitakere. Yeah, so they're all Auckland clubs basically, which absolutely that's not surprising, of course. I think Auckland has... Well, I think it's the most populated city outside of Samoa, but it may also be the biggest population of any city in the world. Here is Manasi this time. Tries to pull that through the leg side and it's through to the keeper and no run. But what I'm saying is that it's got more people than Apia, I think. Well, that may or may not be right, but anyway, it's a moot point. There's a huge population of Samoan people in New Zealand, and particularly in Auckland. You know, as shown by the makeup of many of the rugby sides, for example. This time it's played. Oh, that's a good bit of fielding. It's mid-wicket. That was a super bit of fielding there by number 3. Oh, that was Romalia. And she had to get down very quickly. They got a single off that ball, but could have easily been more. So at the end of 4 overs, that was a very profitable one for Samoa. They're 22 for 2. So how many coming off that over? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 off that over, including the 2 wides. So the interest 12, in fact. So it'll be interesting to see what the approach is. But right now, the clear approach is they're going to stick with Murtiari. And why not? 1 for 5 off her 2 overs. She looks a very good bowler as well, I must say. Nice rhythm, nice run up, good approach to the crease. And she beats Manasi outside off stump. I mean, one thing that is a little bit clear from what I've seen so far, Toby, is there's a clear method, let's say, with the Samoan batters. they've got an arc. Probably it's probably their natural game, but also, you know, worked out their hitting areas, as they say, and that one's just edged away down to third, I should say. No men on the field today, apart from the umpire, or one of the umpires. And it's one more run to Manassi. She moves on to 3. That brings Farani on to strike. But playing to their strengths is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and we're just seeing a changing field for those strengths that you speak of, with 2 out on the leg side now.
And Murtiari beats Farani. So this is a good contest. So it's just very clear what the Samoan plan is here, is to get as many as possible, as quickly as possible. I mean, there's also the power play to think about as well. We're in the last over of it now. But just a very clear plan. It's just a matter of picking the right ball. And that's not it. It's up in the air, should be taken, and there's no one there. Whose catch was that? It was skied up in the air from Farani. I think one of the problems there was on Murtiari's follow-through. She just couldn't get back. Mid-on was deep, as you'd expect, because of the power of which the Samoan batters are hitting it. Mid-wicket couldn't get across to it, and it just fell safely. Here's Murtiari again. And it's a swing and a miss outside the off stump from Farani. But that's the point I was trying to make earlier. From Farani's perspective, it's picking the right ball to go after, and from the bowler's perspective, trying to put both batters into 2 minds about which ball to go after.
Yeah, it's challenging because Murtiari will probably want to attack the stumps, which is probably the most likely dismissal. But then at the same time, if you attack the stumps, it puts it right in the arc of Farane, as we see there, and that one runs away for 4 where she attacks the stumps. So what do you do when you're a bowler in that situation?
Yeah, that one was just a bit full and on the line of leg stump. You can't be hypercritical. And I think your reasoning's right. I mean, if you're a bowler, your job's to take wickets, right? And that's what Murtiari was trying to do. But she's got 1 for 10 off 3 overs, so super impressive. There was 1 for 6 up until that last ball. So she's conceded the 2 boundaries. So 27 for 2, 5 overs gone, another 45 needed. Farani's on 18, Manassi's on 3, and the Indonesian captain Lee Chow's going to come into the attack now from the northern end. Not surprising, really. She's coming in and she bowls the first ball. It's up in the air and it's going to be caught and bowled by Lee Chow. So it was a slightly short delivery. Manassi looked to play it down the ground, I think, kind of tennis-esque, but could only hit it up in the air, and Lee Chow took the catch, wearing the same number as the great Shane Warne. The late great Shane Warne, I must say. So she's a leg break bowler from what I can see there. Looks like she's bowling wrist spin, so well bowled.
A good bowling change, wasn't it, to, if you're the captain, bring yourself on, and a wicket with your first ball. Break the partnership. Well done, Lee Chow.
So this is going to bring Lemoe to the crease, who bowled so well earlier in the day. Lafanga Lemoe. Who does she play for, Toby? Right, so she's playing in Samoa by the looks of things for one of the youth clubs over there. Maybe that could be even a school or a academy or something.
Yeah, she was the prodigy that we were talking about earlier, who just turned 15 last week, so the youngest player in the tournament.
What a chance. A trip to Bali as well. Here's Lee Chow again, and this is played behind point, just evades the fielder there. Oh, that was unlucky from an Indonesian perspective. Quite often you'll see someone that are more of a short third man for a spinner, but This time it was just backward of point, but anyway, the bigger point here is that Ferrani's on strike. Here's Lee Chow, and it's smashed by Ferrani. Oh, and that's beautifully stopped at mid-off. Not quite sure which body part the person did the fielding up there. Just obscured. I just can't quite see who that was. It was obscured by the umpire, but it ricocheted away to mid-on, and they only got one. So here's Lee Chow again. And it's cut again. Down behind point, and down towards third really. And Lamoe gets a second single in the over. She moves through to 2. Samoa on to 29 for 3. Gee, Ferrani hits the ball hard, doesn't she? So I have a nasty feeling that fielder for Indonesia caught that one on the knee, but she looks fine. But just how far it bounced away to mid-on.
It was hit hard.
Here's Ferrani, and she's beaten outside off stump.
And so Indonesia have just made a slight fielding change, as you mentioned, around that short third position, bringing an extra one into the offside, into that position on the offside. So that's.
Well, the other point, Toby, is that they could have more fielders out at the moment as well. As Ferrani lifts this one bounce out to the fielder at deep mid-wicket, and just the single. Yes, they've only got 2 fielders out. Oh, in fact, sorry, this is the end of the 6th over now, so I miscounted that in the previous over. So Lee Chow's done a very good job. Very, very good job for her side. She got the wicket, and she's only conceded 4 singles in that over. So yes, that's the end of the power play now. So thanks for pointing that out, Toby. It's 31 for 3. So not too much damage done really for Indonesia. And now the fielders spreading. And it's going to be a bowling change as well. It's going to be Bungie coming into the attack now. Just looking at how she's preparing. Looks like another leg break bowler from what I can see. Just looking at the field now. No one out on the offside. Still a slip. 4 in the ring. Long on. Deep mid-wicket. And deep square leg. And Ferrani swings at the first one. Doesn't connect. She got the toe end of the bat there. And no run. So just 3. Now there's another fielder going out to the cover, or the deep cover boundary now. Here's Bungie. Right arm over the wicket, and Ferrani is beaten in the flight. Will make contact.
Now, if there is a catch out into one of those fielders out on the leg side at deep mid-wicket or deep square, they're going to be looking right into the sun, so it's going to take a quality catch, but that's where it looks like Ferrani is trying to hit the ball, so we'll see what happens if the fielding will be up to it.
Yeah, again, I don't want to be hypercritical, but she hasn't hit anything through the offside yet. I'd be tempted to have a long off rather than a deep cover here. Here is Bungie. And Ferrani this time pulls it away, but can only find mid-wicket. This is good bowling by Bungie. A lot of pressure building here. 4 balls gone, 4 dot balls.
Yeah, the change to spin from Lee Chow, now Bungie, it's paid dividends so far with only the 4 runs from the last 10 deliveries and including a wicket.
This one's pitched up and it's hit straight powerfully to deep mid-wicket. Sometimes called cow corner out that way. Well fielded out there. Just trying to see who picked that up. Well, that was Lee Chow, in fact, I think the captain. So obviously it's not often you see a captain fielding in the deep. In fact, no, I've got that wrong. Lee Chow's at cover. 25, was it?
Oh, was it the gunner or
We'll come back to that. I thought I saw the number 23, but I've just spotted Lee Chow's at cover. So 1 ball left in the over. Bungie's only conceded the single so far. Very, very good start to her spell. It's tossed up and it's hit in the air. It's going to fall safely between two fielders and just the one run. So Lamoe, 3 balls, 3 runs, and that is the end of the 7th over. Samoa 33 for 3, and Bungie, very impressive, just 2 runs conceded. Yeah, I think this is, we haven't seen a lot of spin today, and just thinking back to the Samoa innings, they didn't have any spinners from memory. I don't recall any. They had some slower bowlers, or maybe it was just because the wicket-keeper wasn't standing up to the stumps, but certainly didn't appear to be any spinners. And I'm not saying that's going to affect the game too negatively because they bowled really well, but just already 2 spinners coming on for Indonesia's really slowed things down. Here's Lee Chow, and she's beaten Lamoe outside the off stump, taken by wicket keeper. Where's the wicket keeper? Oh, that's Pratiwi again, the opening bat. The local girl, of course, Balinese. And this is hit over cover. And that could go out to the boundary, or has she timed it well? No, I think there's 3 fielders converging and they're going to get back for 2. So good shot. No danger of getting caught there. Over cover's head. Most of the protection's on the leg side. There's a long on. There's a deep mid wicket and a deep square leg. There's a deep point as well. So here's Lee Chow, just defended there by Lamoe.
Yeah, it's a good point you make about the spinners. I think Samoa and Fiji have gone with more of a pace-heavy attack, and I think a lot of the batters for Samoa probably haven't faced a lot of spin either. So the tactic of Indonesia to bring spin into the attack certainly challenges the batters in different ways to what they're used to.
I have to say that was a bit poor. Lamoe hit it up to mid-on. He was very deep. There was no thought given to a run there. There was a misfield, and that could have brought Ferrani onto strike, but again, can't be too critical. This one's pulled away. Didn't quite time it. Out to long on for a single. So another good over from Lee Chow. 1 ball remaining. She's just conceded the 2. Yeah, that's a really good point actually, Toby. I didn't really thought about that. If it is a totally different thing, especially to face a leg spin. I'd have to say that that's hard for anyone in any form of the game. And this time Ferrani's beaten outside off stump. And that is the end of the 8th over. 36 for 3. Lamoe's on 6. Ferrani's on 21. I mean, I know just in the limited level of cricket that I've played, every time I see a leg spinner come on, I just freak out slightly. Either someone that's bowling quick and short, or someone that's turning the ball away from my bat. I just don't feel the same level of confidence. Whereas if it's an off-break bowler, I don't have that same level of anxiety, let's say. And Indonesia's got these 2 leg break bowlers, so it's going to be Bungie again. Very short run up. Just a couple of paces up to the crease. And this is hit up high in the air. There's a fielder getting close to it, but just can't quite get back to it. That was Sandra Bara at mid-wicket. It was high. She turned quickly, but just couldn't quite get back in time. And so it wasn't a chance in the end. But again, a false shot drawn by Bungie. This brings Ferrani on to strike. And she's beaten outside the line of off stump. This is good bowling from Indonesia. These 2 spinners. Just 2 fielders swapping position there. Quite sure why that was, but perhaps it's just someone who's a quicker fielder or perhaps a better pair of hands. Here's Bungie, and Ferrani tries to slam that through the onside, but can only find the fielder on the deep square leg boundary. It's a good throw back. But Ferrani's doing a great job for her side here. She's on 22 off the 25 balls. Lamoe 7 off 9. Run rate of 4.47. So Going along nicely. This time it's hit in the air. Across the line, down to mid-wicket. Just the one run.
Indonesia have done a great job here just to slow the run rate of the Samoans. There hasn't been a boundary, or hasn't been too many boundaries in the last 4 or 5 overs. I think.
Well, not since spin came on.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a shift.
Yes, it's tossed up. It's floated up. Is a shout for an LBW. Not Evan.
Just looked to be going a bit down leg side, that one.
I really like the way that Bungi's like that was really flighted up, basically saying, come on, hit me if you want. I love the confidence of a young player to do that. Again, it's floated up and it is hit up in the air, down to long off, one bounce, or long on I should say. One bounce and it's fielded down there by Murtiari. Wow, she's got a good arm as well. From what I've seen so far, that was put it this way, I couldn't throw as far as she threw that. Perhaps even in my prime, Toby. Really good arm. Sometimes fast bowlers are not always the best throwers, like Richard Hadley, for example. He wasn't really good at throwing the ball. Obviously, he was a very good fast. Craig McDermott was a very good thrower. But yeah, Mutiari there, great arm. Anyway, that's the end of the 9th over, and it's 40 for 3. That's Lee Chow to continue. And Farani's bowled! Swinging across the line. And look at the joyous scenes. Wow, that was exactly the wicket that Indonesia needed. Farani on her way for 23 off 28 balls. It's Toby. Got the sun beating down on our backs now. Just looking at this one, it's flighted up. In fact, that was a wrong-un. That was a wrong-un from Lee Chow. And you can see how happy she is. Absolutely beautiful bowling. And that was the crucial wicket of Farani. So 40 for 4. So the new batter is Mapu. She joins Lamoe at the crease, and that was a huge wicket for Indonesia. 40 for 4. Here's Lee Chow, and this one to Mapu is played away behind square. It's fielded out there. Fielded out there by Romalia, and there's no run there. Sorry, there's one run there. So that brings Lamoe on to strike, and here's Lee Chow again, and she's looking to sweep that one. Is Lamoe just gets the toe end of the bat. There's no run, so just the one run off this over so far. One wicket, of course. That beautiful wrong-in, or googly as it's sometimes called, by Lee Chow to dismiss Farani. And this is hit up in the air. It just falls short of backward point. And they get one run. So Toby, I don't know if you managed to see the replay of that dismissal of Farani, but it was an exceptional delivery. It was a genuine wronging.
Yeah, absolutely, and it does bring Avita Mapu to the crease, who yesterday came off 33 not out off 20 deliveries against PNG, including 2 6s and 2 4s, so she can hit the ball as well.
As she just did there. Clearing the fielder there, I think just perhaps came in a little bit too quickly, and I think the ball went over her head. Did she get a hand to that? Hard to say, but it would have been it was a powerful hit, and Mapu off the mark, well not off the mark, moves on to 5. So it's Lee Chow again, last ball of her third over. And it's hit up in the air, out towards cover, but over cover's head, mid-off's there. There's a bit of hesitation, but they get through for a single. So, 46 for 4, 10 overs gone. We're going to take a short drinks break here.
No, they took the drinks break at the last wicket, so I think they'll keep playing on, but Avitio Mapu, she's going to be the key wicket here for Indonesia. If they can get her this over, you just think that could be, I know there's only 25 runs required, but Avitio doesn't look like she wants to hang around for too long. She wants this game to be finished in the next few overs, the way she's come out with her positive intent, so makes for an interesting over, this one.
So it's going to be Mapu facing Bungie. Here she is. It's flighted up and she's beaten Bungie outside the off stump. No run there. This is Bungie's third over, so she's got one left. Lee Chow's got one left. So tactically it's going to be interesting because they haven't bowled a fifth bowler yet. That's the other point. Romalia hasn't bowled. And once again, beaten outside off stump and given! Caught behind. Mapu doesn't look happy, or perhaps just disappointed. But it looked like more of a polite inquiry from Bungie. Let's just have a look at the replay here. It was flighted up. It was cleanly taken behind the stumps. There was an instant appeal from Pratiwi, and that's a very, very, very big wicket by Bungie, dismissing the dangerous Mapu for 6. So 47 for 5, Toby.
That is the big wicket that Indonesia needed. So we're now getting into batters that we haven't yet seen in this tournament. Or some of them, sorry. But it's a good opportunity for Salima and Lamoe to really step up, and with 25 runs required, you don't need to do anything too silly. It's only 2.59 runs per an over, so it'll be interesting to see how Samoa approach this chase.
Here is this first one, and is there a stumping? Oh, there was a lot of excitement. So this is great bowling by Bungie. She's bowled 2.3 overs, 1 for 6. Very, very impressive. That one just bounced and straightened, I guess. So the other point here, Toby, is that this is the 11th over, so Romalia is going to have to come on, either in the next over or one after that. This one's hit through covers. The mid-off comes round. Is they going to come back for 2? They make it back for 2. So into the gap. So that was a good shot there from Salima. She gets off the mark with 2. But yes, Romalia's going to have to come on. Lee Chow could bowl out, but if Romalia's going to bowl her full spell, she's going to have to come on after the next over. This one, just swing and a miss, or half swing really, from Salima. There's Bungie, last ball of her third over. And again, beaten outside the line of off stump. So that's 11 overs gone. So very important consideration now for Lee Chow and the rest of the side. What do they do? Which end do they bowl Romalia from? Assuming she's going to bowl all five of her overs, of course. Well, it looks like Lee Chow's going to carry on, so that decision's been made. So it means that Lee Chow, who's got 2 for 14 off her 3 overs, will continue her spell, bowling to Lamoe, who's just defending watchfully. There's no run there. Good support here for the local side. And Lamoe swinging at this one from Lee Chow, beaten outside the off stump. There's no run.
Great keeping there from Pratiwi. She's very alert behind the stumps, ready for a stumping if Oliva Lamoe is to leave her crease. It'll probably be lights out with Pratiwi behind the stumps there.
Here is Lee Chow again. It's flatter and it's pulled to mid-wicket. It's well fielded there by Lookman out there. And I think that's Noralia, isn't it? I was calling it Noralia earlier. That's just the opening bowler. That's high in the air. Is it going to be a catch? Not quite. Between point and cover, 2 fielders converging, aren't able to make the catch or take the catch. Lamoe was outside off stump from Lee Chow, spliced up in the air.
Almost a collision there, but they did well to avoid at least colliding into each other.
Lee Chow, this one is just defended by Salima. 1 ball left in Lee Chow's spell. Very tidy indeed. 2 for 15. Looks a very, very impressive bowler, I must say. Both the leg break bowlers do.
Yeah, Lee Chow was part of the team that went to the Under-19 Women's World Cup, and I do recall that she opened the bowling in a few games in that tournament in South Africa, so she does have a bit of experience, and I mean a very tidy spell here today with a 15 for 2 from her 4 overs, isn't it?
Indeed. So, it's the 50 up, of course, too, for Samoa, so they need another 22. And as expected, see the bowling change there, presumably. No?
Bungie.
Is this Bungie to continue, is it? Okay, so that means they're going to have to bowl 6 bowl.
I think they could rotate their bowlers potentially if you have a bowler bowl 14, 16, 18, 20 and their opening bowlers rotate through, but I think Indonesia will back their bowling depth that they do have a lot of options to choose from as well, so they might even use more than the 5 bowlers, but we'll find out, won't we?
Yep. Well, the spinners have certainly been doing the job so far. Here is Bungie. It's flighted up and beaten outside the off stump, but this one's called wide. Of course, it's actually 1 more over, isn't it? Because she could bowl, as you say, 13, 15, 17... No, this is 13, sorry. 14, 16, 18, 20. Yeah. Maths was never my strong point, Toby. This one's skied up in the air. There's a field at mid-wicket. Takes the catch. So that is the end of Lamoe. Bit unnecessary, you'd probably have to say, with just 25 required. This is Bungie's last over as well. But good reward for Bungie. She's bowled absolutely beautifully here today in partnership with her captain. And Lamoe on her way for 10. Salima, the not-out batter, on 2. And that was very, very well taken. Just trying to pick up who that was. I think it was 86. I think it was Panun who took that at mid-wicket.
Yeah.
Catch.
She looked very comfortable under the ball, didn't she? And I think a few overs ago the captain did make the fielding change to put her in that position, and you can see why.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens sometimes. I always remember when Ricky Ponting was young in the Australian side against New Zealand one time in particular. Steve Waugh was still the captain then, and he just always put Ponting at long on because he knew that was the hitting zone of the couple of players, and he knew that he was unlikely to drop anything. This next one to Peter, who's the new batter, and it's played nicely up to long on, and there's no run. Yeah, Ponting, he just never dropped anything, so it was good captaincy by Steve Waugh all those years ago, and good captaincy by Lee Chow here today for Indonesia. So Bungie, very impressive, 2 for 10, 3.2 overs. She's coming in from the southern end of the ground. And this is, I thought there was a possible stumping chance then. Beaten was Salima outside off stump.
Well kept once again then from Pratiwi. The ball is bouncing and spinning. It's not easy conditions to be keeping when you've got a bowler that's bowling like this, but yeah, really, really impressive.
Yeah, I've got something else to add on that as well actually. Here is Bungie bowling to Salima, and it's defended. Where is Bungie from actually, Toby? Have we got that information? Where does she play?
She's playing in NTT out there.
Right. So what my point is that Pratiwi wouldn't play with either of these spinners on a regular basis. She's Balinese. She plays her cricket in Bali, and so Bungie being from NTT, or playing her cricket in NTT. So your point's a very, very good one. Anyway, it's the last ball of Bungie's spell. 2 for 10 so far, and this one's played to mid-wicket. Forcefully, there could be a run out. There will. Oh, did she drop it? Did she drop it onto the stumps? I think this has been given not out, but I think Bungie's saying I dropped it, but I dropped it onto the stumps. In fairness to
Marielle Kenny.
Yeah, Marielle. Bungie was blocking her view, so we'll get the benefit of the replay, but Marielle Kenny won't get the benefit of the replay. But I think what Bungie was saying there was that, yes, she dropped it, but she dropped the ball straight onto the stumps. So this is the bowling change we've been talking about. In fact, it's going to be Penun coming into the attack. So, interesting. We've been digging up Amelia all game, and she hasn't even had a bowl yet. Interesting. 7 for 0 on her debut for the senior side. She drops back to the under-19 side and doesn't get a bowl.
Yeah, who knows? There might be something that's not quite right with her today that we're unaware of. She did bowl yesterday, of course. But
here is Penun, and this first ball to Peter beats her outside off stump through to Pratiwi, and there's no run. Just look here, look at this replay.
yeah,
I think she's saying I dropped the ball onto the stumps, or I dropped it onto my leg and it hit the stumps. I didn't break the stumps with my hand.
yeah, it was a close one. Even looking at that replay once again, it looked like maybe it was her hand that hit the stump. So probably that angle, we might need to see it again, but still, it was very close either way, wasn't it? Really good fielding effort from Indonesia there just to get it back, and geez, a chance that might go missing.
Yeah, well, the other thing too is we haven't seen the side on whether it would have been out or not. But I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure what she said was it hit my arm, it hit my leg, and then hit the stumps, which is obviously fine. But anyway, that was what she said. Anyway, here's this next ball. It's in the air, played up to mid-on, and they're not going to get a single. Evades the fielders. 53 for 6. 19 needed now, just the 19. 4 wickets needed by Indonesia though. So you'd have to... Samoa should do this. They should do it. But should and actually doing it is something different. So this is played out to deep mid-wicket. They get through for a single. The other thing too from Indonesia's perspective here is, do you keep all these fielders out? There's 3 on the leg side.
Yeah, we've seen that Samoa do like to deal in boundaries, so they are protecting that boundary, and regardless of whether there's fielders out there or not, Samoa will probably try to hit boundaries or clear the fence. So it's an interesting conundrum.
In fact, they're just putting another fielder out on the point boundary now. So that'd be 4 fielders out. Not sure this short fine leg's needed. Having said that, she'll probably take a catch next ball. Here is this next one. It's a full toss and played across the line, baseball style, by Peter. She moves on to 3. So this is a good effort by Panun here. She's
you just get the sense, don't you, that it's going to come down to the last over or 2 this game. Indonesia looking for those 4 wickets, or who knows, the run rate might come into it the way things are currently going, but it's been an incredible bowling and fielding performance from Indonesia to limit the Samoan score.
Pin on again, and it's a swing and a miss from Salima. That is the end of the 14th over. It's 55 for 6. Peter's there on 3, Salima with her on 3, so 17 more required, 6 overs remaining. And what I'm interested to know, Toby, is when is Murtiari going to come back? I think she's got 1 over left at the moment. She was super impressive earlier on.
Oh, I think here's the bowling change. Oh, it's Bara from Papua, I believe. So it doesn't look like Ramali is going to be used, and yeah, there's plenty of bowlers to choose from for Lee Chow, isn't there? When you consider they haven't even used Ramalia, who is playing today.
Yeah,
and
she batted earlier on.
Yep. So, Bara left arm around.
Yeah, left arm orthodox by the looks of things, around the wicket. And she plays that one up to deep mid-off. And there's a shy at the stumps. But Peter gets through for a single, running with the shot. Yeah, I mean, I'm really, really surprised that Murtiari didn't come in for this over. Here is Bara, flighted up, hit all the way along the ground up to, not too long off. It's very well, long on I should say, very well fielded up there. That's Bungy up there, very well fielded with a distinctive long flowing hair at the back. Just solid by Bara, but wickets are needed by Indonesia here.
Yeah, it's tough when she's a little bit slower through the air, and on the synthetic pitches, the batters can just go back, can't they? And really wait for it, but run out.
Oh, and no one backing up, so they're going to get 2. Oh, that's unfortunate. So what was going to be a dodgy one to end up being a 2. So no fault of anyone's really there. I mean, arguably you could say that mid-wicket should have run around and covered that, or in fact there was a short fine leg. I'm not quite sure where she was at that point, or maybe she's just moved there now, I'm not too sure. But anyway, it's 2 to the scorecard. That's the important thing.
Yeah, good sensible batting here from Miriama Pitta.
This one's flighted up, and she thought about swinging across the line, but thought better of it. And there's no run. It's tough, isn't it? Just 13 needed. Still plenty of time as well. So you're right, Toby. It is sensible. When I say time, there's still plenty of balls left. So it's a wide. So there's another one. Lee Chow just going over to have a word to Bara. Probably along the lines of, don't worry, it's okay. It's only 1 run. You're doing fine.
Wouldn't a wicket here really change the game?
Certainly would. Here is Bara. And that's hit once again up to mid-off. They get through for a single. And actually, you might wonder if you're just watching why they're taking singles to mid-off. But of course, Indonesia has to think about not giving away a boundary. So mid-off is right on the edge of the 30-metre circle, and because of that, if you run with the shot, it's generally pretty easy to get a single. This one, Salim is beaten outside off stump. So that is the end of Bara's over. She's got none for 6. Samoa 61 for 6, and 5 overs left. Indonesia need 4 more wickets, and Samoa need another 11 runs. It's going to be Penun to continue. Sun beating down on the backs of Toby and I. The sun started the day under the cover of a marquee, but with the tension in this match, we haven't found the time to move the commentary table, so we'll just have to deal with it, Toby. Here's Penun. It's a full toss. Down the leg side, but not called wide.
Yeah, you can see the fact the sun is going lower and the shadows getting longer across the pitch here today. On a beautiful day at the Udiana cricket ground in Bali, Indonesia.
I went to a wedding yesterday and there was no breeze at all. It was really hot. Here's Penun again, past the umpire, and this time Peter is just defending watchfully. They're showing real maturity, these two batters here, aren't they?
Yeah, Miriama Pita and Nora Salima. It's been a good little partnership for Samoa so far.
Here's Penun again, right arm, past the umpire. It's a full length ball and it's slog swept all the way along the ground. Out to wide long on, who comes in, does the fielding. One further run to Peter, she moves on to 8. Salima's with her on 4. Yes, even though Salima's only got 4 and faced 15 balls, in this circumstance, her job has just been to stay there, and she's done that well. Here's Penun again, and this time it's defended by Salima. 62 for 6. So you said, Toby, run rate might become a problem. 2.31. It's not a problem yet, but it's just edging in that direction. 4 overs to go after this. 2 balls left in this over. Here's Penun again. And this one's hit up towards cover along the ground. No run there, but this is what I'm saying. Just 1 run off this over so far.
Yeah, I think the previous over that went for 6 probably just got Samoa ahead once again, but I think anything, if it gets over 3 or 4, but look, run rate shouldn't become a problem, but I think it will come down to the last few overs.
Here's Penun, and she's bowled her! Salima feeling the pressure of an over where only one run was taken. It was a great delivery from Penun. She went wide on the crease, floated it up, angling in, and look at the jubilation on her face as Salima swung across the line, and the pressure counted in the end. Salima, who had been so patient, saw her leg stump, knocked back, well, not really knocked back, the bails flew off, and this is beautifully done by Penun. She finishes her second over, 1 for 4, and Samoa now 10 more required. They're 62 for 7.
That's exactly what Indonesia needed, wasn't it? A wicket, just changed the momentum of the game. We're just talking about run rate. A wicket like that, and is it a bowling change that's coming on that you've asked for?
Yeah, Murtiari's coming on. This is a good move. Yeah, so Yeah, so she's got 1 for 10, and she gave away those 2 boundaries to Varani, but otherwise she was virtually unplayable. And now she's bowling to tail ender. So Indonesia moving in for the kill, as they say, and she beats Peter outside off stump with her first delivery. Yeah, I think this is a very good move, because even if she doesn't take a wicket, you know she's going to be accurate. She was superb in that first spell. Apart from that one that drifted onto Farani's pads, she didn't bowl a bad ball. And there's a new batter, Tafea's come in at the other end. Here's Mutiari, and then it's down the leg side and it's a wide. Okay, so it's,
that almost took out leg stump, that one, but we were talking earlier about the T20 playing conditions, and you're a millimetre off and it gets called for a wide, so
that won't bother her though. She'll just be thinking about one thing: I want to get a wicket. Here she is again, Mutiari. It's shorter, it's up in the air, and taken! A backward point! She comes on, she drops it slightly shorter, and as I've mentioned a couple of times, when it's outside off stump and you've got batters looking to swing across the line towards the leg side, there's always a chance of one getting spliced up in the air, and that's precisely what happened. It's exactly what the Indonesian fans wanted. Good bowling change, Lee Chow. Well done, Mutiari. And I just can't see who that is in the field out there. I think it was the opening top order batter.
could have been Romalia, I think, with the catch.
Yeah, may well have been. Or who was the other one? Yeah, I was thinking Barra's also a fairly shorter player, but it's definitely not Barra. Yeah, you might be right. It might be Romalia. But anyway, that's not so important right now. The most important thing is the 2 more wickets Indonesia need and the 9 more runs that Samoa needs. And it's Paula Taivao coming in now, facing the first ball of her innings from Mutiari. She just defends. So just 2 balls left in Mutiari's spell. Ah, okay, I see. So this was, we've just confirmed it was number 68. It was Tree Weo who took that catch. Here's Mutiari, and it's outside the line of off stump, beaten. There's Paula Taivao. But that's not the worst result for Samoa. She's still there. And the dangerous Mutiari. Kadek Devi Mutiari, a local Balinese player from the island of Bali. She comes in, last ball of her spell, and it's hit in the air into the gap. They take off for a single, just behind point. They get the run, and that is the end of Mutiari's spell. 1 more run to the total. It's 64 for 8. And Mutiari, she finishes with... in fact, sorry, there's a wide in that over, so there's 1 more ball left at wide down the leg side. So she gets 1 more chance. She's going to be bowling to Loini Tafea, facing her first ball of the innings. Samoa. They've paced this run chase pretty well, I must say, despite losing wickets. But those 8 runs, it's still 3 more overs to go after that. Here's Mutiari. They play it up, she plays it up to mid-wicket, does Tafea. It's fielded there, and that is the end of Mutiari's spell. Well bowled. 4 overs, 2 for 12, so... super bowling by Mutiari. The bowl bringing her back into the attack to bowl out was a sensible move. They got 1 of the wickets required. So 3 overs left for Indonesia now. It'll be interesting to see who stays on. In fact, it's Panun And this is wise. She's bowled really accurately. So she could bowl out this. She could actually bowl out from this end now. So she's got 2 overs left. So she's going to bowl 17 and 19. It's just a question of who's going to bowl the other one at the other end. Here is Pinun. That's down the leg side and it's wide. So, as you mentioned earlier, Toby, wides really cost Samoa. I don't think Indonesia's wide count's been anywhere near as bad as, or as high as Samoa's. At this stage of the innings, wide in the last over from Murtiari, and now Murtiari, I should say, and now one from Pinun. You don't need to be bowling wides at this stage. This one's worked into the leg side by Pollard Taivao, out to the sweeper on the mid-wicket boundary, and one further run to the total. So it's just 6 needed now.
Yeah, just the 10 wides in Indonesia's innings. I say just the 10 compared to the 31 wides in the Samoan, in the Indonesian innings. So
yeah,
that's
Indonesia shouldn't even be in this, really, should they? Anyway, here's Pinun. She's still in the game. This is up in the air. Is there a chance of a catch? Oh, it's just over mid-off's head. And are they going to come back for 2? Is there a chance of a run out? There's an appeal. Is it given? Not given. Well, that was well fielded in the end. It was over mid-off's head. Quickly recovered, but also, I must say, very, very quick thinking there by Pollard Taivao. Knew there was a chance of a 2. And she raced back to the non-striker's end. The throw came in to Pinun, and it was a good throw too. She whipped off the bails, and we haven't seen a side on replay whether that was out or not. Anyway, here's Pinun. 4 needed. And this one is played up to mid-off. They take off for a single, and they get there comfortably. So just 3 required now. Oh, I'd love to see a side on replay of that previous delivery, Toby.
Umpire Alu Kappa was in a perfect position to give it not out, so
he was, you're quite right. This next one is just defended into the leg side. They take off for a single. They get the single. So Samoa, we're going to see a replay of that. Oh no, we're not. 70. So 1 to tie, 2 to win. This has been a good over, a wide, 3 singles and a 2. 2 balls left in this over from Pinun. It's Tafir on strike. And she just defends it. They take off for a single. That's risky, but there's no one there. Where was the wicket keeper? Oh. Wow. That was high risk, and the Samoan players are having a real laugh over that. They're probably thinking, how do we get away with that? Don't know where Pratiwi was. She wasn't behind the stumps.
yeah, she went chasing for the ball and then was just caught out of position there.
This one's up in the air. This is going to be the winning run, is it? They get through, and Samoa take the winning run. Jubilation in the Samoan players' tent. They take victory here at Udiana Cricket Ground, and there's a delay. It's confirmed. And look at the hug from the batters out in the middle. Tafir and Polai Val. The Samoan players run onto the field. The Indonesian players congratulating themselves as well, and so they should. They played really, really well, Indonesia. After being so many wickets down early, posting a target that almost got them to victory. Hugs all round from all the players. But Samoa, 2 days in a row, Toby, successfully chasing, and they're in a very, very good position now, you would have to say, in this tournament.
They are, and what a great win it was for them today. They found themselves with a really good bowling attack, having Indonesia 6 for 19, great fight back from Indonesia to put themselves in the contest after that start. But Samoa 2 from 2, top of the table. Still a long way to go with another four days of matches, but congratulations to Samoa on today's performance.
Absolutely. And so from myself and Toby here at Udiana Cricket Ground, as the sun streams out over the ground on a beautiful day here in Bali, just recapping the day. Earlier it was Papua New Guinea running out convincing winners over Fiji, setting a huge total of 171, and Fiji being bowled out very cheaply in reply. In this game, much closer, Indonesia scoring 71 and Samoa chasing it and winning by 2 runs with 2 overs to spare. We'll be back here at Udiana Cricket Ground for this ICC Under-19 East Asia Pacific Under-19 Women's Tournament. We'll be back here at 9:30 local time tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Yay! lapor. Yun, di sorry.